Welcome back to the Snowpoint Cast. Today we're going to be looking at a deck from 2008 called Garchomp. So this particular list actually got second place at the UK National Championship in 2008. A player named Sami Sekkoum, who's also a really renowned Worlds player, has done really well at a lot of Worlds events. Happened to get second place with this exact list that we're going to be looking at here. So let's get right into it. Starting off with 3 Gible. So Gible's got 50 HP, normal type, single retreat, and a +10 weakness to colorless. Push down for 1 colorless does 10, and then your opponent forces the switch, which is actually kind of nice. There's a fair amount of setup Pokemon in this format. We got Mawile or Chatot. So being able to force your opponent out of the active if they have like a Baltoy benched, and then force them to attach, retreat, like waste an attachment there is actually kind of a decent turn 1 attack if you got nothing else to do. And they also play 2 Gabite. So Gabite's got 80 HP, single retreat, +20 to colorless. Gather up for 1 colorless, search your discard pile for up to 2 energy cards, show them to your opponent and put them in your hand. So kind of okay. And then Marvelous Shine for 2 colorless, flip a coin. If heads, put 4 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If tails, remove 4 damage from one of your Pokemon. So kind of an interesting out. If your opponent has, like, if you have 1 prize left and your opponent has something on the bench, you do have a snipe option there. That's kind of cool. But this is the main reason you play those guys is for the Garchomp. So Garchomp, it's got 130 HP, colorless type, free retreat, which is really clutch, and then keeps that colorless weakness, but it's +30. The Pokebody is called Rainbow Scale. If an active Pokemon has weakness to any of the types of energy attached to Garchomp, Garchomp's attacks do 40 more damage to that Pokemon. So great damage buff, and it puts you within range of a lot of stage 2 knockouts in this format. With 110, you one-shot a Guardy, which is really nice. Some other stuff too. So Dragon Fang for 3 colorless, 70, with the +40 puts you at 110, which is really nice. And you do play some damage modifiers to get that damage up there if you do need to get even higher as well. But you also play the Garchomp X because the Garchomp Lv.X is pretty good. So 140 HP, colorless type still for retreat, but a ×2 weakness to colorless. Dragon Pulse is the power, yeah. So once during your turn, when you put Garchomp Lv.X from your hand to your active Pokemon, you may flip 3 coins each. For each head, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So you spread 10 for each heads. If you get triple heads, that's actually insane, and you do like 30 to everything is really, really great out of a power. But even having that option to just go, you know, Dragon Pulse, chip some stuff, and then it makes that KO with Dragon Fang and Rainbow Scale a little more plausible if you get a heads or 2, because sometimes you are a little short on the knockout, like you're short on Gallade. So being able to Dragon Pulse there is kind of nice as well. So Restore is the attack on this guy, also a great attack. But for free, search your discard pile for Pokemon, excluding Lv.X, and put it onto your bench. So you can get 3 basic energy cards as well, and then attach them to that Pokemon. So that's great because you can get the Garchomp, but also you can get a Dusknoir as well. So you can just get the raw Garchomp, which is really nice. If you get knocked out, you don't really have another option. You don't have enough energy because you have to do manual attaches. Being able to just restore another Garchomp is really, really clutch to keep yourself in the game. And usually this Garchomp's not getting knocked out in 1 tap. So being able to do that and then just be attacking next turn is really, really nice. So you're also playing a Dusknoir line. You play 1 Duskull, 50 HP, Psychic type, single retreat, colorless resistance, and a weakness to darkness. Disable for 1 colorless, flip a coin of heads, choose one of the defending Pokemon's attacks. That Pokemon can't use that attack during your opponent's next turn, so definitely a decent starting attack. And then Psychic colorless, Nightshade, 20, does 10 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So kind of decent snipe as well. There's some niche snipe things that if you're in a really, really specific situation, it's good to know that those exist if you can win a game with them. So Dusknoir, 120 HP, Psychic type, really, really solid card. 3 retreat, colorless resistance, and a +30 weakness to dark. The Dark Palm is the power. Once during your turn, if your opponent has 4 or more bench Pokemon, you may choose one of them and all cards attached, and your opponent shuffles them into the deck. So that's great for slowing your opponent down. Not only are you taking their evolutions back, you're also taking their energy attaches back. So usually you don't want to drop this guy until you can drop it in 1 turn. You want to hold it and then you go Duskull, Rare Candy, Dusknoir in the same turn. If you drop a Dusknoir or Duskull, good for restricting your opponent's bench, but you really want to be able to punish them for overbenching. And keeping their bench low is okay, but I would definitely rather take some attachments away if I had the choice between the two. And then Hard Feelings, you can actually use this with the Restore or manual attaches depending on what your board looks like. Psychic Colors, Hard Feelings, put 5 damage counters on the defending Pokemon, then count the number of prize cards that your opponent has taken and put that many counters on the defending Pokemon. So you can get up to 10 if your opponent is on their last prize, so you can just drop 10 counters, which is a decent amount of damage, especially when you're attaching that energy from the discard right on there, so you can have that as an attack later in the game if you get it out with the Garchomp. You're playing a Claydol line as well, 2 Baltoy, 50 HP, single retreat, weakness to grass. Psychic, you play the Psychic Balance once because it's just the best one. So 1 colorless, Psychic Balance. If you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, draw until you match them. So it's great to, you know, if you're having nothing going on, you can at least just attach and then draw some cards. And then spin turn for a fighting colorless does 20, and then you switch Baltoy with one of your bench Pokemon. If you have to use spin turn, you're in a really dicey situation. And then you do play those to play the Claydol. So Claydol's got 80 HP, 2 retreat, plus 20 weakness to grass. Cosmic Power is the power. So once during a turn, you may choose up to 2 cards in your hand, put them to the bottom of your deck, and then draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So amazing staple card in every format that it's in. It's a great, great, great card. So fighting colorless for spinning attack does 40. You can do this, and it is okay in some matchups to be able to hit for fighting weakness, but honestly not the best attack. And usually you're just using this guy for the power. This will be a Dugtrio line. This is mostly an Empozong tech because they snipe you a lot. So being able to avoid that snipe is really nice. So Diglett's got 50 HP, single retreat, resistance to lightning, and a weakness to water. Down draw for 1 colorless, draw a card from the bottom of your deck. So at least you're drawing cards if you got nothing else going on. And then Mud Spatter for 2 colorless, or 2 fighting rather, does 30. The Dugtrio has got 70 HP, fighting type, single retreat, and a weakness to grass. So Sand Veil prevent all effects or prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. So just great for preventing snipes. Cessation Crystal turns you off, but still really good in case your opponent doesn't have that, or, you know, depending on what matchup you're against, they might not play it. And then you can, this is another Pokemon that you can snipe to clean up with. So Dig Under for fighting colorless. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 30 damage to that Pokemon, and you just snipe 30. So another attack that, you know, if you're hitting something for not the knockout and you just need to kill something for game, you can attach here. I've had games where I potentially was going to go for a Dig Under for a game. I didn't have to, but I started attaching to the Dugtrio before I had another win out. But yeah, so double edge as well. So fighting 2 colorless does 60, and then Dugtrio does 10 damage to itself. You play 2 Phione as well. So these are your, like, pretty much one-ofs after this. So Phione has got 60 HP, single retreat, and a weakness to lightning. Evolution Wish is the main power that you play this guy for. So search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. So just for one, you just evolve, which is great. And it lets you hit really fast Claydols. You just find a Claydol is usually what you're getting with this, and then all of a sudden you're getting Cosmic Power, and then you're hitting the ground running. Just play 1 Absol. So this is another moving damage counters around. Sometimes you're just short with Garchomp because the 110 just sometimes isn't enough. So this is one of those things that kind of, this is like the other ones that I've mentioned so far, you know, Gabite and you know, whatever. The Garchomp X is actually kind of a valid strat, but the Gabite's not really, and the Dugtrio is not really. But the Absol EX is a pretty decent strat that's you rely on. So 100 HP, Dark type, single retreat, plus or minus 30 resistance to Psychic, and then a weakness to fighting. So Cursed Eyes. Once during your turn, when you put Absol EX from your hand under your bench, you move 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of your opponent's Pokemon. So just great for if you're going to 2-shot something as well, and you have so much extra damage on it, you can just move that damage to something else, so that you have the option to 1-shot that later is also really nice. And then you can use, actually you can't use Psychic Pulse, so we're not even going to talk about it. But you do play a Pachirisu, so Pachirisu is actually a great card. 70 HP, lightning type, single retreat, minus 20 resistance to metal, and a plus 20 weakness to fighting. So Call for Family is awesome for 1 color. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon, put them under your bench, and then shuffle your deck. So great setup Pokemon. And then Smash Sword is actually really, really solid against Cessation Crystal as well. So Smash Sword for 1 color does 10. The defending Pokemon has a tool card attached to it. This attack does 10 plus 30 more damage. Discard that Pokemon tool card. Then look at your opponent's hand and discard any Pokemon tools of the same name you find there. So being able to not only get rid of your opponent's Cessation Crystal, but say, hey, if you don't have a way to search it or a way to draw cards next turn, or you don't top deck it, you're not going to get another Cessation Crystal. You can't just hold them in your hand. So this is a really great card, especially against Honchkrow. Featherweight rather is the name of that deck, but really, really solid because you're able to hit them for like 70 for 1, and then you discard all their Cessation Crystals. So really, really solid attack there that is super useful in some matchups. You also play 1 Rotom. So Rotom's got 60 HP, lightning type, single retreat, resistance to colorless, and then a weakness to dark. The dual trans for free. Search your discard pile for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Kind of fulfills the same niche as Garchomp X, but it's a lot easier to get out. It's not a stage 2 level X. It's just a basic that attacks for free, same. So it's great to put in as a pivot. If you don't really have anything to do, you can dual trans, get 2 energy, and then attach rather, then get 2 energy, and then all of a sudden you're ready to attack next turn. And then you can reflect energy as well. So for lightning colorless does 30, and then move an energy card for attached to Rotom to one of your bench Pokemon. So kind of a good setup attack there. In some matchups, only the lightning weekend, but Empoleon is super lightning weak. So if you have to attach to a Rotom, that attack isn't the worst to be doing. So they also play an Unown Q, helps your mobility a little bit. So Unown Q, 30 HP, free retreat, and a +10 weakness to Psychic. Quick is the power. So once during your turn for your attack, if Unown Q is on your bench, you may discard all cards attached to Unown Q, and then Unown Q becomes a tool card. So essentially, if you got a Rotom's got 1 retreat. If I have a Q on my bench, I say quick, and then I activate it, and then all of a sudden my Rotom has free retreat. For free. They're great, especially with the Pachirisu, being able to search out lots of basics. You can get that and then be able to get the free retreats if you want to smash short later. So just a great mobility option for a lot of your deck. And then you also play a Chatot. So Chatot's one of your setup Pokemon, 60 HP, colorless type, free retreat, which is really nice. Resistance to fighting and a +20 weakness to lightning. Mimic for free as well. Shuffle your hand to your deck and then count the number of cards in your opponent's hand and draw that many cards. Decent setup attack. I mean, you're free, so you get to attach somewhere else, which is really, really nice as well. And then Chatter for 2 does 20, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's turn. So that's actually kind of nice as well. Not really, really commonly used, but knowing that you have an attack that says your opponent can't retreat can do a lot, especially in a mill situation if you're about to win by deck out. Okay, so starting to get into the trainer cards here. You're starting off with 3 Rare Candy. Rare Candy is really solid and a staple in every Stage 2 deck. So choose one of your basic Pokemon to play. If you have a Stage 1 or Stage 2 card, just put it onto that Pokemon. And you can just break the rules. You can go Gible in the same turn, Rare Candy Garchomp, and then all of a sudden you're setting up, which is really, really nice. And just being able to kind of break that. That's the reason that Dusknoir is so good, is because you can go Duskull, Rare Candy, Dusknoir in the same turn, and then all of a sudden take a lot of your opponent's energy away, if not all of it. And that's can be really, really detrimental. Okay, so you're also playing 1 Time-Space Distortion. So flip 3 coins for each head, search your discard pile for a Pokemon, show it to your opponent, put it in your hand. So you do play a fair amount of, you only play a 3-2-3 Garchomp line, so you do need to have some Pokemon recovery there. And getting the Garchomp X back especially is really, really nice. The main reason you play Distortion, because you can get the Garchomp back, put it in your hand, use it again, and then use the Dragon Pulse power again, and it potentially set up some chip knockouts, which can actually be really, really vital. And you play Night Maintenance as well, just because, like I said, 3-2-3 line. It's a 3-2-3-1 with the level X, I guess, but you're only playing 3 Gibles, so you have to play some Pokemon recovery. You can't just do 3 Pokemon in a game and then hope that your opponent doesn't get through 3, because most of the time they will get through 3 of your Pokemon. So that Pokemon recovery is super important. You're also playing a Pluspower. So the Pluspower is really nice because it lets you hit for just a little more damage. You can get a little bit of a push. Like Galactic has 130 HP, I'm pretty sure. So if you get a Dragon Pulse, if you get one of the Dragon Pulses off and then a Pluspower, all of a sudden you're knocking out if you have a Psychic Energy attached. So that's really, really nice as well. And then you play Strength Charm for the same reason. I think the reason that the split on these, it could be for prizing, just so you're like, oh, okay, I have my Pluspower and my Strength Charm, but also because like they could be double Pluspower is the thing. But Strength Charm, I guess the reason is mostly for prizing, but it doesn't really matter. This could be a Pluspower or a Strength Charm. It doesn't really matter, but can't be 2 Strength Charm because you can't attach 2 Strength Charm at a time. It's nice to be able to go Strength Charm and then Pluspower as well if you do need to do that to push over a high HP Pokemon that you want to kill. You also got 4 Crystal Beach. This is a great stadium card. So each special energy card that provides 2 or more special energy in play, both yours or your opponent's, now provides only 1 colorless energy. This is mainly a counter to Scramble Energy and Double Rainbow Energy, because both of those cards are very, very good. And Guardy is the best deck in format, and it plays a lot of those cards. And Pozong plays like 4 Scramble Energy and a Double Rainbow too. So just a really great card to help slow down your opponent. You're a single attach deck, so when they have that opportunity to get kind of 2 attaches in a single attach, they can tend to outpace you. But Crystal Beach kind of is your out to swing that back in your favor with the pacing. So let's play 4 Roseanne's Research. Roseanne's Research, search your deck for up to 2 in any combination of basic energy and basic Pokemon. Show them to your opponent, put them in your hand. Just great card for setting up and also attaching energy. And it's one of the reasons that you're allowed to play so many different kinds of energy. It's great in this deck because you can find the energy that your opponent's weak to, attach to the Garchomp, and then all of a sudden you're swinging for another 40 with a Rainbow Scale. So super solid card in this deck. I'm also playing 4 Celio's Network. So Celio's Network, search your deck for a basic Pokemon or evolution card, excluding Pokemon EX. So the only thing that doesn't grab is Absol. Show it to your opponent and put it in your hand. So great for finding literally anything, but the Pokemon consistency is a big deal here because you play Pokemon-based draw and also Pokemon-based disruption. And setup as well. So it's just really, really important to find your Pokemon. Play 2 TV Reporter as well. Draw 3 cards and then discard any 1 card from your hand. So I think that's mainly to get some stage 2s into your discard pile. If you want to potentially use that restore with Garchomp, you can go for an early restore. You get some energy in the discard. If you had to retreat, you can go for a restore, and then all of a sudden your board can be looking pretty insane. And And you also play one Team Galactic's Wager. So Wager is your hand disruption card. Each player shuffles his or her hand to his or her deck. And then you play rock, paper, scissors. The winner draws 6 and the loser draws 3. So being able to have even just have that hand disrupt, if you know your opponent's been Claydoling multiple turns in a row, you know they probably have what they want in their hand, especially if they haven't been playing much. So being able to disrupt that and say, hey, well, you have to find this again with Claydol is a really, really solid option. You also play one Holon Mentor, so it's another Pokemon search card. You play 5 Pokemon search supporters, or 9 rather, which is a lot. So discard a card from your hand. If you can't discard a card from your hand, can't play this card. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon with 100 HP or less. Show them to your opponent, put them in your hand. So this does find Absol, does find all of your basics. So great basics. Essentially does the same thing as Pachirisu, but it's in a supporter. So yeah, really, really solid. And then you also play 4 Lightning, getting into the energy line here. Lightning is mainly for Empozong. Empozong is one of the best decks in the format. I think it's like probably tied with the Guardi for BDIF. Really, really solid. So being able to hit that for weakness is super important because you have to be able to one-shot that, or at least try to one-shot that if you can. And it's just a really important matchup. So you play 4. And they also play 3 Psychic Energy for the same reason. Guardi is a really solid deck as well. I don't think many things in the format beat Guardi. I don't think this deck does, but you can potentially get there with the Psychic manual Psychic attaches, because like I said before, Garchomp does one-shot a Guardi. The main problem is that Guardi just locks you up, right? So you can't use your Claydol, you can't use your Absol, you can't use the Dragon Pulse on the Garchomp X, you can't use Dark Palm. There's just a lot of stuff that you don't have the option of doing. So that sucks, and usually they can just lock you out of the game. But if they don't do that, and you can get energy attaches onto a Garchomp, then it means that you might be able to live. The thing is, Galactic is still really deadly, and you just get one-tap by Galactic. But you one-tap a Gardevoir too, so it kind of depends where their energy attaches are. Same with yours. But yeah, Psychic, super important for Guardi, and also can be important against Bronzong, because Bronzong's also weak to Psychic, and you don't one-shot a Bronzong unless you have a Psychic as well. That's important for both Empozong and Gardevoir. And Galactic as well. If you're trying to one-shot a Galactic, you need that, and 2 damage ticks either with a Dragon Pulse or a Pluspower and a Strength Charm. Whatever you do, is as long as you have 2 on there, you can knock it out as well. So super important for all 3 of those cards. And then 3 waters. These are mostly for Megmortar, Leafeon, or Megphion. So finding the waters to hit the Megmortar. Megmortar is the main attacker in that deck. Has a weakness to water, and you don't one-shot it unless you do. And you don't one-shot it anyway, because I think it has 130 HP, but you need that extra damage to be able to potentially get there, right? Like, you never know what's going to happen with a Garchomp X Dragon Pulse. It's a coin flip card, so it's kind of crazy. But you want to be doing as much damage as you can, obviously. You also play 2 Fighting Energy, so there are some fighting weak Pokemon in this format. I can't really think of them right now. But yeah, just having that weak, or hitting that fighting weakness is nice. Oh, Absol. Absol has 80 HP, so being able to hit an Absol for a one-shot is nice, because Featherweight does play 4 Absol, and that is a pretty good card in that deck. And then you also play 1 Fire. This is for Megphion as well. It's Megmortar, Leafeon. And this is kind of a rotatable card. I put this in here because Leafeon can be a bit of an issue, and if you have a Fire, you just one-tap Leafeon because it has 110 HP. So I think that's really nice, not having to worry about two-shotting like Leafeon is pretty clutch. But this could also be like a metal, depending on what you're expecting, or really like any energy. If you wanted that to be a dark, if you wanted to use Absol, that is potentially a thing as well. But I don't love attacking with Absol. I just the ability is the main reason you play that. Okay, well, this has been Garchomp from 2008. This has been Sami Sekkoum's top 2 UK Nationals list. If you have any questions about the deck, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to them. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.